Welcome back, everybody, and sorry for the technical difficulties. We're starting a half hour late, but thank you so much for joining us. We're talking a full slew of stuff today. We've got 4 trailers for you. We've got Doctor Odyssey pilot episode 1 we're going to talk about. Kyle Chandler is made into a role for the Lanterns movie. Then we have Happy Gilmore 2 and what I know you did last summer sequel for Legacy sequels. And then finally we're going to talk about what we want to see as a Legacy sequel. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody, to ReelTime RoundTable, where we give you the best Hollywood news here on YouTube. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties. Had a little trouble with some of our stuff, but we are here for you live. I'm, of course, your co-host, Josh Williams.
I'm your co-host, Jordan Burke.
I'm Addie.
And I'm Chris.
Got another newbie on the table, Chris.
Exciting.
He was wanting to come on. How you feeling today, bud?
I'm feeling all right. Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I did wake up feeling pretty good. And then usually I get here early to check everything, make sure everything works. And, lo and behold, I was like, you know what? Everything should work. Everything should be fine. And then something always goes awry when that happens. So I've learned my lesson.
It's all right.
We're here now. Let's get into it. I'm excited to talk about today. Before we get into it, guys, we weren't able to get something up for the show before, but we want to give our condolences to the family and condolences to Maggie Smith, who has recently passed away. If you guys don't know, Maggie Smith played Wendy in Hook. Mm-hmm. She played Professor McGonagall in Harry Potter. Oh, yeah. She was a very influential person in Hollywood. She was an incredible actress, and she will be incredibly missed. Just rest in peace to her. We give our thoughts and prayers to her family, and just a big beacon in Hollywood that will be forever missed, for sure. But let's get on, guys. Here, the show must go on. Let's talk movie trailers. Holy crap, was there a lot. And I thought about leaving out some, but I'm like, no, we can't leave out this one. We can't leave out this one. So we got to talk about all of them, the big ones at least. So we're talking about first, The Last of Us 2. Let's just get the big one out the way, which to me is the big one, because I think we can all agree the first season, we've all seen it, right?
I've not seen the first season.
Homework for Chris.
Okay.
Homework for Chris. But you guys have seen, of course, The Last of Us Season 1. Incredible season. The video game is just as good. I mean, the TV show is just as good as the video game, in my opinion. So this trailer's come out, which was a lot longer of a trailer than I expected. I expected some of a shorter teaser for this one. But Addie, we'll start off with you. You saw this trailer. You've seen the show. What do you think?
I'm excited. Really. I really liked the video game, and so I was kind of nervous when they first started with the actual first season, because I feel like, as you guys know, a lot of the time when they make movies based off of video games, it just doesn't really work out.
Yep.
But man, was I so surprised when I was like, oh my god, this is really, really good. So I'm excited for the second season. I feel like it will be just as good. There's probably gonna be a lot of tears, but it is what it is. So
I guess I've been told by my production crew and my floor director, stop hitting the desk. This is my show, guys. I can do what I want. No, I'll stop. I'll try my best. You know me, I get excited. I can't help it. I will try my best, I promise. But no, I completely agree with you. The one thing I'm really excited for is to finally see Caitlin Devers make her debut as Abby, which, if you guys know, in Last of Us 2 is a huge antagonist role. And when I saw her getting cast, I was like, I'm all for it. Yeah. We've only seen brief moments of it in the trailer, but from what you saw from there, who else are you looking forward to for the show, and what do you think of the trailer, Jordan?
I'm very excited for it. I thought the trailer looked really, really good. I'm always a little nervous when a newer show does really good the first season, that they'll kind of drop it the second season. It's not as good, but I'm just excited to see the original cast.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
One thing before I get to you, Chris, because I have a couple questions for you, for someone who hasn't seen any. Have you seen the games at all?
So, yeah, I've played the first game.
Okay, then this will actually be a quick question for you as well. Based on what we've known from, have you guys played the second game at all? Okay, then we'll leave that for Chris then, because that's a good question for him. But based on what you guys have seen, how am I going to ask this? Where do you think this could go as far as expanding the world? What I mean by that is there's much more to the two that I don't want to give away, but as far as Abby's role, what are you guys looking for in an antagonist for her character?
You should probably start with that.
I just for an antagonist, I hope we hate her. I hope we love to hate her. I love when I love to hate an antagonist. So I also love when an antagonist has depth and when I can understand where they're coming from, even if I don't agree with them or I don't want them to be doing what they're doing. I like when I can relate with them and understand.
Yeah.
So I hope I can get that.
So this brings me now to you, Chris. You haven't you've seen the trailer. I want to ask you about the trailer too. Get your first thoughts on that. But this next question I have is: we've played the games. I've played 1 and 2. You guys haven't. But there's a huge, and I mean huge, moment in the second game that's kind of a big shock.
Yeah.
Do you foresee that of being like a mid-season finale of it, or like that's going to be the season 2 of that moment, which will then break into season 3?
So yeah, I think that will be. I think the big moment of the second game will be the season finale for the
Okay,
season.
I agree.
Just because that's such a shift, and
and
that's such a cliffhanger for make you watch season 3
true.
and bring you back.
But what do you think of the trailer from what you have seen, especially you playing the second game?
I think it's great. I think watching it, you very clearly see that it is very the second game, and so I think it's cool. And I've liked a lot of the set pieces, and the one scene where like the fence falls down, it's just like crawling, like that freaked me out.
Yeah.
And those monster designs are always great, and I like they captured it really well.
I'm hoping they bring in some different. Like I know they didn't bring a ton of new different creatures from the first one to the second one as far as the games go, but I'm hoping they bring in like some more different variety of ones that we haven't seen based on the first one, because the first one designs of some of like the specialty zombies were like really cool, and I wonder if they're gonna do also for this season kind of what they did the first season, where they'll explain a little bit of how things came to be. I don't know if they're gonna like do like a back in time kind of thing to help relate to things, but I love the trailer. I'm excited to see, because you girls haven't played the games, but Abby is. You will hate her, but you will. But it's also a very complex character as for her motivations of what she's doing, and it's, that season finale. It will get people hooked for sure. Yeah. All right, lads, let's move on here to the next trailer. We'll keep things rolling here. We next are gonna talk about some Marvel stuff. We'll talk about Thunderbolts. Yeah. Thunderbolts is coming out here. This trailer was a lot longer than I expected for a first trailer. I don't know about you guys. I was expecting maybe a minute and a half to 2 minutes, but this was like almost 3 minutes long. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Chris, we'll start off with you here. Is that a good thing? But also, what did you think of the trailer? And I'm going to ask this around the room here in a minute, but keep in the back of your minds how you feel about Bucky Barnes, who I think had a good completion to his redemption arc in Falcon Winter Soldier, now being a part of Thunderbolts, leading the Thunderbolts crew. But go ahead.
So I think the length is good, because it felt like every couple of seconds they would like introduce a new character. So like it'd be like the first 30 seconds and then they'd introduce David Harper's character, and then they'd introduce John Walker, and then they had Ghost in there. And so I think that's really what it was, is they just kept introducing the team throughout the whole thing. So I think that's what the 3 minutes really mattered for. And for Bucky Barnes, for that question, I think he'll play like Rick Flag from Suicide Squad. I think he'll play a role like that for the Thunderbolts.
I can buy into that.
He's like the go-between.
I could buy that, because to me, it felt like, because the Thunderbolts are basically like the Suicide Squad. So that's actually a good analogy, because when I saw him as being even a part of the group, I'm like, he already had a like redemption arc as far as like his public perception and all that stuff. Like he already went through all that. So like I didn't necessarily agree with that, but that actually makes more sense. Jordan, what do you think?
I'm really excited for it. I agree with Chris that it's so long, because it's just so many big characters that already have a storyline, so you have to take your time to introduce them. And with Bucky Barnes, it is interesting. He's sort of had his story, but I'm excited to see him. I'm really excited to see him. I'm excited to see him and Florence Pugh's characters together. I know like people have kind of hinted maybe a thing with the two of them. I don't know if I'm care about that, but I think just such complex characters, they have a lot in common, and I'm very excited to see the two of them together.
I would say if there's anybody to take over the moniker of Black Widow, Florence Pugh. That's like my Hollywood girlfriend.
Yep.
I knew.
Me too.
I loved her ever since she was in Fighting with My Family, up to Midsommar, to everything. Anything she's in, I'm all for it. But what about you, Addie? You've seen this. What character stood out to you as far as in this trailer for the action scenes and everything like that?
I actually, I'll have to say, when I saw Bucky, I went, I like gasped so loudly, and I was like look at her, because I was like, I was so excited. I didn't even know that this was even coming out, but then I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready. This one I'm not a complete like
Yeah, you're not a
superhero
complete- yeah.
person, but this one I'm excited for.
And it's actually pretty interesting that it looks like when they were all in the elevator going to that, it looks like the Avengers building, like Tony Stark's building. I
Yeah.
think that's
It
what it
does.
is.
That's what I
It
thought.
does, yeah.
Because we don't know what happened to it after.
Because I remember, I think it was in Spider-Man when they said someone bought it
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
yeah.
So maybe it was her that bought it out. And that's kind of a
Yeah.
like a
That'd be kind of cool.
middle
Cool
finger to Tony
parallel.
Stark. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
That'd be
That's
kinda
very
cool.
interesting to think. One character I am extremely excited about, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts are, is Sentry is going to be making his Marvel debut. If you guys don't know, Sentry is basically the Marvel's Superman. And it's the guy who says, "My name is Bob." The guy who says, "My name is Bob."
I love Bob.
That's supposed to be Sentry.
I love Bob.
Sentry, that's supposed to be him. He's supposed to be making his debut. And that's very interesting to me because, yeah, Sentry's extremely powerful. He's, like I said, he's Superman in Marvel. So I'm curious to see how, for me personally, I'm curious to see how they portray his character. I love the actor in it because he was in Top Gun Maverick.
He was. He
And
played
I-
Bob.
Yeah, he played.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
He's
played
still, but he's still
he's
Bob.
still Bob.
He's still
He's
Bob.
and I'm perfectly okay with that.
We love Bob.
I'm intrigued to see how it goes. My only worry is because I looked online, they still don't have a Pacific rundown, I don't believe. And of course, movies have done this before where they can kind of mesh all these characters together. I just hope it doesn't take away from any of their characters as far as if it's too short of a rundown. You still want character development. You still want to care about these characters and move forward with these characters. I hope none of them are going to get lost in the shuffle because like Ghost
Yeah.
or Taskmaster, you know what I mean? I don't know. Do you guys agree with that at all?
Yeah, no, I can see that. It's one of those things where I don't know if they're gonna be like setting up sequels, and so they're not gonna like fully flesh out the characters until Thunderbolts 2, Rise of
Yeah.
whoever, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever they do.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I think that's
That's just something I keep in the back of my mind. Other for me, this trailer's way better than I thought it'd be. I love the fact that it was long distance. It was a very long run time, and I can't wait for it to come out. I mean, it comes out here. Hold on, what date did they give it? May 2nd of next year. So we've still got a quiet ways away. I'm sure we'll get something at like some convention that they'll host to have give more trailers and more stuff in between. But I'm excited. It looks really good. All right, now let's move on to one that I'm on the fence about, but Ana de Armas is playing the character, which it makes it okay because I love her as an actress. But Ballerina, it's a John Wick spinoff where it looks like she is being trained basically the same place that John Wick was, which is the Russian. If you guys watch the shows or the movies, in John Wick 3, he goes back to where he was first trained in the Russian mob, and it looks like that's where she's trained as well. And it's kind of setting up her character to be basically a female version of John Wick. And he does make a role in here, as you see here in the trailer, which makes me seem, if you guys haven't seen John Wick 4, spoiler, he quote unquote dies at the end. We still don't know if he's dead.
What?
I think they still leave it open, but he supposedly died at the end of John Wick 4, so this takes place, I'm assuming, before that. But Jordan, you're a big John Wick fan, or no?
I've never seen him. I know. I want to.
You got it.
But
That's
You
a
got it.
I
homework.
know.
You gotta.
I've been told they're good.
I
want
love,
to.
yeah, I love them. But you've seen this trailer, but now that you have no knowledge of it, though, what do you think of Ana de Armas playing this character and seeing this trailer? What do you think of it?
I'm very excited for her. I think she's an amazing
Yeah.
actress. I think she has fantastic range. So I know her from Knives Out.
Yep.
I believe.
Oh, yep.
I'm glad that
Mhm.
was accurate.
No, yeah.
But I think this character is going to be very, very different than the first character I saw her play. So I'm very, very excited. And actually, not knowing that it was a spin-off, I thought it was just the creators of John Wick.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, either way.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
fine.
definitely a spin-off, and she was in Knives Out, Blade Runner 2049. She played Marilyn Monroe in Blonde, that came
Oh.
out a couple years ago. So she's been in quite a bit, and she's really an up-and-coming actress herself. What did you think, Addie, after seeing this trailer? Are you excited for this film?
Yeah, actually, I really am. It looks really BA, and because at first I was like, I just thought it was about a ballerina at first, and I was like, okay, cool. But then the fact that like, in my opinion, a lot of people think that ballet is very like simple and you don't
No.
put a lot of work into it, right? So when she starts doing like ballet on top of stuff like martial arts and stuff like that, I'm like, it's very similar. You really have to kind of break your back to perfect ballet. It's really difficult. So I thought that was kind of the cool like two
mean,
contrasts of it.
Who do you know who can be on their tippy toes and do all that like spinning? And all,
No.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just things like that alone.
It's
is-
hard.
No, yeah.
And so with that also, because I also didn't know it was a spinoff, I thought it was just the creators of John Wick, and that makes it even more exciting. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with it because I'm such a huge John Wick fan, and if he actually is dead, that's a problem for me
Right.
because this is his franchise.
Right.
And if you're gonna, I mean, I'm okay with like having spin-off. Because to me, a spin-off is that's a character you're introducing to then bring into the original franchise to team up with said main character.
Yeah.
But if he's really dead,
Yeah.
you know, what are they gonna do? They just can't call it the World of John because they put Ballerina, I believe. How'd they phrase it? Yeah, the World of John Wick Ballerina. That's how they phrase. That's how the title of it. I'm like, okay, that's my reservation.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna continue this franchise without him, I'll still watch this movie because they had the armors.
Right.
But I'm just like when they did this, they did a spin-off TV show for this called it's like for the hotel basically.
The Continental.
The
yeah.
Continental. That movie was that show was awful. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I watched it. It was awful. But but besides that, you saw this trailer. Are you a fan of the John Wick franchise? Do you know?
Yeah,
it?
I've seen like John Wick 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got a sense of it. Did you enjoy this as well?
I thought it was a good trailer, and I like Ana de Armas as well. I think it's cool, and I think John Wick is such an easy franchise to make spin-off for because you just make a new assassin
Mm-hmm.
and just set him in the world of John Wick, put him on the Continental. That's all you got to do, and then it's John Wick,
Yep.
the movie.
That's true. All I can say is I hope it's good because I said the Continental show was a disaster. It was completely void of the tone of the actual movie franchise, whereas this actually gives itself the same tone. And my hope is that there's an end credit scene where it shows that John Wick's actually alive. That's my hope.
That would be cool.
That'd be dope because you can't have if you're gonna continue this franchise, you have to keep Keanu Reeves in it. That's just me though. But what do you guys think of that trailer? Leave your comments in the section below and let us know your thoughts. Let's get to the last trailer so we can continue on, guys. We've been on these for a while. Moana 2 has finally dropped. This has been a long time waiting. It's been 8 years since Moana, the first one. And it looks like it shows her having a sister. She's still continuing wayfinding. Addie, we're going to start off with you here. What did you think of this trailer? And are you excited for them to finally bring back Moana? Even though I think they also announced doing a live-action version of the original.
So, maybe it's a hot take,
Oh.
but I don't think that Moana was as good as what a lot of people were saying it was.
That's
I
crazy.
did like it. I honestly, I loved it. I thought the music was beautiful. I thought the characters were great. The story wasn't really there for me. It was kind of boring at times. I mean, if I have to stop and look on my phone to like look at stuff, then my attention is gone. You know what I mean? So I have no idea what they're gonna do for this next movie because like I don't know. I mean, they always like will do something different,
Yeah.
but it just. I don't know. I mean, live action, okay, let's do that. But do we actually need a sequel? Like, is that really required? I don't know.
That's a fair question. And I will say I liked the trailer. I did have that question in my mind of like, from what I've seen from it, it looks like the same structure as the first.
Right.
And that's a concerning for me. Is that same for
Yeah.
you, Jordan?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Addie. The first one is good. I like the story. I like the characters. For me, it didn't hit very well, and I don't know. I'm a little hesitant with the second one. I also just don't understand where the story's going, based on the trailer.
Well, it looks like from the trailer, at least from what I gathered. What do you? I'll jump it to you, Chris. What you think? It looks like from the trailer, she's still wayfinding. She's still searching for new places to have her people expand and whatnot. And so every once in a while she goes back. Now I don't know what that new creature is or the new elemental thing that they have. And I'm not sure what Maui's thing, going to be his point in the whole story is. I'm not sure, but do you have an idea by any chance? Or
Well, I'm kind of a corporate show over here compared to you guys. Like I think Moana is one of those movies you can make a sequel for. I think it's such
Really?
a good world to like expand on.
Okay,
And you can explore more, and it feels like there's more characters on the voyage this time than there was last time.
that's fair. That's a fair point. And I'm just curious to see how it's all going to turn out because, I mean, I loved Moana. Now, granted, that was the same year Zootopia and Kuo and the Two Strings came out. So to me, out of all of them, that was the third best. But I still enjoyed it. But I think I'm on the same wavelength as you guys. Except for Chris, of course.
Yes.
I'm just curious to see where they're going to go with this. Just based on the trailer alone, the structure of the movie looks like copy and paste from the original. If that's the case, that's a problem.
I wonder if they're doing that since it is a Disney movie aimed towards kids. Are they kind of just trying to get the kids that saw the first one? So
Right.
they're like, no, we're just following the same structure. And then when it comes out, it'll be
I hope
somewhat
not, because
different.
if you look at some of the other sequels they've done in the past, Toy Story Toy Story is a perfect example. They still change up the story, but adding to the characters and continuing on, but they also make it for adults as well, because parents taking that to the theaters and they want to have at least have their parents have some enjoyment out of it a little bit. I would think at least,
Right.
for being a parent myself. So I hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
Because so that actually would diminish to me the value of that franchise.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I was
No,
going to say,
no.
I just feel like I can only think of, I mean, they haven't made a ton, but any Disney princess sequels they have made have not been like amazing. And so that's something else I'm a little worried about. Because, like, I know, I was going to say Elsa 2, Frozen 2. I heard that was actually almost better than the first one. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I also think that Mulan 2 was actually pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was funny. I kind of grew up with that one. But, like, Cinderella 2?
Lion King 2 was actually not
No.
nearly as good as the original.
Aladdin 2? I mean, I know that's kind of
Okay, Return of Jafar was not that bad.
Dude.
It was not that bad.
Really?
It was not that bad.
Josh is putting his foot down.
I don't
Put
know.
my foot down. Yes,
I
Robin
don't-
Williams was not in it, but it was not that bad.
Okay, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
I get what
I'm
you're saying.
just-
I
I'm
perfectly get what
nervous.
you're saying. And sequels can be hit or miss, but so far in the modern Disney animation, they have actually been
That's true.
good for the most part.
I don't know. I think Incredibles 2 kind of was not great.
Which one?
Incredibles 2. Oh,
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Incredibles
I
2 is
honestly
not
didn't think it
great.
was
Jordan's
that great.
freaking out over here.
What's another? And Toy Story 4 was the weakest Toy Story.
That was the
That's
weakest one.
it
That's a
was.
fair
Yeah,
assumption,
that's true.
but it was
Those are
still
all
just as
Pixar.
good.
Those are Pixar, so that,
Yeah,
that's a
both
little
Disney,
different.
Pixar, it's still in that same yeah.
But
But we will see. All I know is that we can all hope for the best
Yeah.
and but prepare for the worst.
It's
That's
true.
all I can say. All right, guys, what do you think of all these trailers? I know we went on a little longer expected. Leave your comment section below. Which one was your favorite? And give us your positives and negatives. And let's move forward.
Up next on September 26th, which was last Tuesday,
Yes.
Wednesday, sometime last week, a new show called Doctor Odyssey aired. The first episode aired on ABC. It follows a medical team on a luxury cruise ship. It was created by Ryan Murphy. He also did American Horror Story, Glee, 911, a bunch of other things. I chose to discuss this show because we've kind of noticed that we're following the same franchises, the same actors, the
Oh, yeah.
same stories a lot on this show, and we wanted to just pick something very random and very out there, and I think this show is very random for our show. So I kind of wanted to, we've all watched it, and I kind of, I'm going to start with you.
Start with me.
I want to get your thoughts about what do you think about it?
So when you brought this up that you wanted to do it, and I saw the cast, like I honestly forgot Ryan Murphy was producing it, which is still, like you said, home run producer. His resume speaks for itself. But to me, what enticed me was Joshua Jackson. If you guys don't know, I mean, I grew up on the Mighty Ducks franchise, and he was the main actor of said franchise. So that to me was like, ooh, okay. I love him as an actor. I love that he's getting some work now at his older age. But that's what enticed me. And overall, I enjoyed the show. I did. But how it left me was a pilot is supposed to grab you.
Right.
And it to me a pilot's supposed to grab you and by both hands of the
Yeah.
shirt and like, hey, you're going to start watching me. Like The Last of Us did it. To me, Penguin did it. Anything like that. To me, the show is kind of like, hey,
Yeah,
Come on. come watch with us.
That's disappointing.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. I think I will still continue watching it because I did enjoy the characters for the most part. I enjoyed, like, to me, it was like ER on a luxury boat with like partying. That's what it kind of felt like in a way. And yeah, it's another medical show, but it has a different twist. The characters are enjoyable enough, with the exception of Sean Teal, who plays the nurse Tristan, which I'll have you guys give your thoughts on his character. To me, he was the weakest, and to me, he was the annoying character. And sometimes you need a character that is annoying to help keep things interesting, but it was the type of annoying like, I don't even want to see you on screen right now.
is he the British guy?
No.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
yes,
is.
he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Okay.
I kind of related to him.
Oh, you did.
Like, I don't know, Doctor Odyssey, like the main guy, kind of felt like a menace to me. Like he really
Wow.
walked in day one and stole his girl, and then he also,
I mean, that is a good point.
he then also
that is a
gave
good
his
point.
backstory that he spread COVID to the United States. He was patient zero of COVID-19.
He was.
I mean,
he was doing
Can't
his thing.
keep you the girl.
He was
I'm
doing his thing.
He was doing his thing, but he was
I kind of related to him.
Dr. Odyssey. You felt like the Chad of the.
You were patient zero.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
not like that.
yeah,
Not in that
yeah.
sense, but like
You're
I don't
Mr.
know.
Stelia's girl.
I enjoyed his character. It's very interesting, complex. He does kind of play. We got to be careful with our words, but he kind of plays the a-hole
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
But he's definitely also a very nice guy, like kind of how I am as a person. But I love his charisma as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Don Johnson's in this as well, another big TV actor who's around as well. Overall, I had a good time watching it, but also the other thing that get me, the part that grabs me is you need more than just your base level storylines. Like the base level storylines were, and I'll let you guys continue, were like the side ones, like them taking care of patients, like their own individual small stories of like. The couple on their honeymoon was very hilarious to me, and this couple that came up twice for the shrimp and everything else, like those are great. But they needed more of the main cast background storylines to keep me hooked, and that's not quite there yet, which I hope they would have done in this first episode. But that's my take on it. I still enjoyed it. I'm still gonna continue watching it to see how it progresses. But I mean. What was the Rotten Tomatoes score again? Like that doesn't have like a critic rating yet, but it's not sitting well, is it?
No, I don't know exactly what the Rotten Tomato score is, but on just if you look it up, the overall score is about a 2.4.
Yeah.
I
Yikes.
don't. People are not liking it. They're not a fan. But Chris, you sort of gave a little bit of your thoughts. Do you?
I thought the cinematography was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I loved they had a lot of moving shots, a lot of dolly shots, and I thought that was really well done. And I think that's it. I think everything else was I think it was rushed. It was like we would go from storyline, and then as soon as like the storyline would ramp up, it'd be over, and then we'd go to the next storyline, and like they'd be like, oh no, we have to do this. Oh, it's over. Oh no, we have to do this. It's over. And then the writing was a little exposition heavy, but I think that's just the first episode kind of getting through the rough. That's just
fair.
me.
So when I looked it up, a lot of some people love it. Some people are like, it's Ryan Murphy. It's great. It fully embodies his. Just kind of what he does and what he's created. But what a lot of people are complaining about is that the medical aspect is very, very inaccurate. And
Really?
Yeah, people are not enjoying it. And this is what I wanted to bring up to you, Ed, because you said you didn't really have time to watch it, which is totally okay. But for me, in my personal opinion, I think that a show, maybe not necessarily a medical show, but I think it's okay for a show to not be fully accurate if it's entertaining, because it is still TV.
Yeah.
And it is a show, and I kind of wanted. What are your thoughts about that?
Like I think it would only bug the people that really know what is going on, if that makes sense. It's like I feel like it's the same way, which I mean most people know, but it's like if someone's watching a movie and somebody's arm is like cut off, but like the anatomy isn't right. Obviously, it's gonna bug somebody enough to where it's like that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So I guess it could be like the same way, and it's the same way with anybody in the medical field. But I feel like if it is entertaining enough, which how you guys are talking about it doesn't seem like it's that much like that entertaining. I feel like at that point, then it's like really like, okay, well now I'm really out of it because of that aspect.
So let me, I guess, reemphasize. It's entertaining. Like, I like to give shows like an analogy of steak. Like to me, this is not a filet mignon or a T-bone steak of a show. It's more like a top sirloin. It's still good. It's just not a lot. So far, there's not a ton of meat to it to make it like fully enjoy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Like to me, a T-bone is like Penguin or The Last of Us, or filet mignon, something like that. This one's still enjoyable. It just doesn't have yet a ton of meat to it.
That's that grab to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it is entertaining, and it has potential to be a very good show. I also think it kind of gives like a modern soap opera, and maybe it's not supposed to be taken completely accurately and completely seriously, but I think maybe if we give it another chance, if it just gives a little more time, it might be able to kind of get back up there. I mean, Ryan Murphy's a great creator. He's done a lot of good stuff.
How about so I didn't look to see how many episodes are on it fully. It looks like there's only 4 slated as of right now. But let's say I'm not sure how many they actually like greenlit for this whole show, we'll probably revisit this here in a few weeks. We'll bring on the same group, and we'll kind of revisit our thoughts. I think it'd be a good thing to do.
Absolutely.
So.
It sounds fun. Well, guys, that's all we have for this topic about Doctor Odyssey. Let us know your thoughts. Did you like it? Were you just okay with it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
All right, so let's start here with our next topic. This I'm actually very excited to talk about because along with the cast, there's other rumors of other characters showing up. It has been reported by the Hollywood Reporter that Kyle Chandler, a big-time Hollywood actor, has been casted as Hal Jordan in the DC series on Max, The Lanterns. Now, from what this has talked about, is that his character of Hal Jordan will be a much older character of Hal Jordan, and they're going to bring in Jon Stewart as a younger Jon Stewart, kind of training him for that sector. And they haven't announced that actor yet, which I do have a fantasy casting for that one. But Chris, I believe you're a big DC guy.
Yeah, I dabble.
Yeah. Hearing this news, and I mean, he's been in so many great movies, so many great TV shows. How do you feel about him taking on this role as Hal Jordan?
I think that's. I only Googled him. I have not watched him in anything, to be honest. But looking at him, he fits Hal Jordan. He's kind of like basic looking, and that's very Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is the basic Green Lantern. He's like, if you want Green Lantern, that's what you want. Is Hal Jordan. Yeah.
I was very excited. I mean, 'cause he was in Super 8.
Yeah.
He was. There's quite a few others he was in. I agree he's basic. I guess it's a very big term to go. But if you think of Green Lantern, you think of Hal Jordan. Like Jon Stewart, for me, I guess it's tied between that and Jon Stewart. And I'm going to pull up the actor's name, who I want to do here in a minute. But girls, you've seen this. We're going to start with you, Addie, next. You hear this news. You've seen him in some stuff, I'm assuming. How do you feel about him playing on this character?
Yeah, I actually have only seen him in Super 8. But I feel like that's enough. Because I think we were talking about this before the show. But I'm excited to see people that I don't really know very well in different movies, and I honestly have, like I said, I've only seen him in one movie, so I feel like it's like foreign enough for me to like really enjoy it because I don't know anything else he's been in. So it's like a new thing. I never got to see the OG Green Lantern because people were saying that it was booty, so I was like, okay,
with
I'm
Ryan
not
Reynolds?
gonna. Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna do that. So
he was great as Ryan Reynolds, but the rest of the movie was not.
I just the structure of it and stuff like that. I heard that it was just not great,
Pretty
and
trash.
so this is really interesting to me. So I mean, I don't know.
I like that he's playing an older version. That way we at least get, because everyone was like, hey, I want Hal. If you're gonna start it, you gotta have Hal Jordan. You gotta have Hal Jordan. That's great, and now we're doing that, but they're giving you best of both worlds, where it's an older version, which I don't think they're going to kill him off by any stretch of the imagination.
No, probably
But
not.
they're bringing in, like I said, Jon Stewart, who I grew up on watching the most. But if you want to hear, other than Super 8, he's been in movies such as Game Night. He was the father in Godzilla, the first two, the 2014 and the King of the Monsters. He was in Wolf of Wall Street, Zero Dark 30. I mean, he's the First Man. Holy crap, he's been in a ton of stuff. He was in Godzilla vs. Kong. I mean, he's been in a lot of those side. I think this excites me. And do you agree that he's played a lot of side characters?
Yeah.
He's played a lot of supporting roles, but now he's playing a front-running role. You think it's finally time for him to take that on? And he can do it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm very excited for it.
Yeah. So there's one person. They said they're gonna bring in Jon Stewart. And there's one person I know I want to bring him in, but do you guys have any in mind that you would like to see cast as Jon Stewart? Anybody that comes to mind at the moment?
Not for Jon Stewart. Maybe like Michael B. Jordan, but he's a little older, so I don't know.
That could work. Do you think they could get him though?
For a series? I don't know. I think.
So there's a new movie that just came out called Rebel Ridge, came out on Netflix, and the main guy in that is called Aaron Pierre. I didn't bring this up, but if you Google his name, Aaron Pierre, Rebel Ridge, after I saw him in that movie, I was like, that's Jon Stewart right there. I was like, Google him afterwards, guys, and everybody watching here, Google that for you while you're waiting, and he looks like Jon Stewart. Like, here, I'll even pull him up for you while I'm talking.
Yeah.
Like, that's Jon Stewart.
Yeah, he
that
looks
is
like
totally
Jon
Jon Stewart. He's great action in him. He's got great range as an actor. So to me, like that is perfect casting. So I'm looking forward to seeing who they cast, even though they haven't officially announced it. I'm excited for this news. I'm glad they're finally moving forward with this because it's been on the back burner forever now. So hearing that it's finally moving forward, that's what I'm excited about the most. But what do you guys think of this news? How do you feel about Kyle Chandler playing the role of Hal Jordan in Green Lantern, the Lantern series for HBO Max? Leave your comments in the section below and let us know your thoughts.
Your thoughts.
Your thoughts.
We have some sequels
Yeah.
coming out soon. We have I Know What You Did Last Summer is getting another sequel, and Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out. This was so shocking to me.
Yeah.
I Know What You Did Last Summer wasn't.
It was a shock to me.
Really?
Yeah, no, because
wasn't
the first one
extremely
was
shocked.
good. The second one is just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Freddie Prinze Jr. is returning to play a legacy character in it is what's shocking to me. That's how we found out about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Adam Sandler's coming back as Happy Gilmore for Happy Gilmore 2. Like
I'm very excited for Happy Gilmore 2. I haven't seen the I Know What You Did Last Summer series, so I'm not extremely. Have you seen it, Abby?
I've only seen the first. I didn't know they made a second one.
Yeah, it's...
Well, so wait. Actually, I guess I should ask. What do you think of the first movie of?
I enjoy the first one. I like the idea and the premise of it. I mean, it's been out forever. If you haven't seen it by now, I mean, spoiler alert, I guess. But it's a guy. They run over a guy. He comes out for revenge and kills them. He tries to kill them all. I mean, that's kind of interesting to me, because they did do it back then, and they did try to just toss his body away. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that part, actually, I liked that idea, and the scares were cool. Even though to me, like when it came out a little bit after Scream, so there was kind of playing on that slasher vibe that things were going on during that time. And the second one came out, and they tried to be more jokey with it, and like, who was it? Jack Black is in it as like a dreadlock stoner dude in this vacation place, and that to me killed it.
Yeah.
Like right then and there, and they try to add more to it as far as the characters, the antagonists, and like why he's, all this other stuff. But when I heard they're making now a legacy sequel, I was like, cool. But what are you gonna do now? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
you're right. Like, if you know the endings of the first two, the ending of the two, like the main guy who was supposed to be dead in the first one came back alive, and now he's really dead. And the twist of the son, who's supposed to be, helping his dad kill these other people, he's now dead. So what are they gonna bring? The cousin
grandson.
twice
I was
removed
gonna
or
say,
something?
Because it's the same thing that they're probably going to be doing with like Scream, and it's just like, I'm not going to say anything, but it just seems like it just keeps going with like somewhat of the same people, and I'm like, okay, and we're both like big Scream people, but it's just like you can only go so far with like a limited amount of people till everybody's dead. So
Yeah.
But
Well, so let me ask you guys a quick question. Like, you guys are all for legacy sequels, right? Like TV shows or franchises, like bringing back older, like a Star Wars done it, Scream's done it, all these other things have done it. Like, you guys are okay with that, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Like the Scream ones are good.
It's okay.
I think it's really just how you do it is.
That's a good point.
Do you want to do it because it's the name, or do you want to do it because you have more to tell with this world and with these characters?
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up too, because I am all for legacy sequels or that continue on. Like Fuller House was cool. Girl Meets World, I loved that. You know what I mean? Things like that to me. What are you smirking about?
Well,
We
talked
were
about
talking about that show.
how we didn't like Girl Meets World.
Yeah. And we had like
we
technical
were really
difficulties.
dogging
We were
on it.
actually like, really
Yeah, we were
turning
kinda-
All y'all was a fired.
that was really funny. I didn't think you'd bring that up.
Okay, so I think you guys all know Boy Meets World is my all-time favorite show.
Right.
Was it as good as the original show? No, of course not. Neither is Fuller House. Neither is some of these other ones,
that's-
because they try and go more modern, lighter tone. But I feel like what they were able to do, especially with like the last season, the season before that, they delved deeper into more emotional side, which is what Boy Meets World is all about. And I didn't enjoy the first season of Girl Meets World, but I liked the second and third before it got
really?
canceled. Like I really did enjoy those a lot. I think they went back to the roots of what Boy Meets World was supposed to be. And man, I can't believe you guys. I'm hurt now.
Hold on. It's a good show. We were just talking about how
Yeah.
we felt like as it kind of went on, the characters got maybe a little more difficult to understand.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. But reining it back in here, we're at 40 minutes now. It's okay, Rudy, my esteemed director, who's first time directing. We're probably going to go to 50 minutes, so we'll have 10 minutes for discussion. We'll get into that here in a second. But reeling it back in, I mean, are we sure Freddie Prinze Jr. Can take on this role? Like, he hasn't been in a live action anything in forever.
He's hot though.
And he was Fred in the
And
Scooby-Doo
so-
movies.
Yeah,
I
he
was
can do
gonna say.
anything.
Yeah, I believe in
He can
any
do
of those
anything.
casting.
Just
I believe in.
I love that Addie. He's
hot.
hot.
I-
I mean,
Well, am I
is.
wrong?
I
I
at
guess.
that
I mean,
face.
maybe you'll say no, but
Come on.
exactly.
Face.
That is attractive. He was good in the first movie, but
but also to that vein, let's talk about Adam Sandler now, coming back for Happy Gilmore too. I mean, are they just going to continue on like him just going back to the PGA Tour? Like, is it going to be his son? Like, where do you guys think that could go?
I think it's gonna be like a Karate Kid, where he like starts teaching a new kid how to
Oh,
golf,
that'd
How to
kinda
do
cool.
his swing?
actually,
Yeah.
probably
wax on, wax off, but with a golf club, you know, things like that.
that
I think.
actually would probably be what it would be.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of a good idea.
That could be.
Not bad. He's like handing his legacy to
They'd
somebody
have to go
else.
rated R though, as far as the the comedy content, because that's exactly what Happy Gilmore was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if I've read right, there's also there's a wrestler that's actually going to make an appearance in Happy Gilmore too.
What?
He's in
didn't know
AEW. I'm blanking on his name. I'll come back to it here in discussion, but
I didn't know that.
yeah, he's going to be making an
What?
appearance in Happy Gilmore too. I can't remember his name. He's a previous champion at AEW. I'll bring up his name here in a minute. But let's continue on with discussion of the week. Jordan, what do we got?
Oh, older franchise movies or TV shows that we feel deserve kind of a legacy sequel. So, Addie, I want to
Yeah.
start with you.
Kind of in that same vein of Happy
Yeah.
Gilmore 2 and like all these other ones that we have seen here, we see here. What do we think would be a deserving that you said can actually add more to the story? I have a really good one.
Yeah.
But who do we want to start with, Jordan?
Addie.
Okay. So I did hear that they might actually make this another movie, which I'm a little nervous about, but I feel like will be cool. The Lost Boys.
Oh.
And I'm honestly, there's a
Ooh,
lot
that's a
in
good
that
one.
movie that I'm still like, well, how did that happen? You know, kind of like what you were saying, Chris. Like they could build on kind of like that. I'm hoping it's not a remake of the movie. I'm hoping they like carry
Continue.
it on of like this happened previously. That would be so cool to see. But if they're making just a remake, then
They got to
Yeah.
bring out Kiefer Sutherland.
yes,
If they do, they got to bring him back.
He did die.
Didn't he die?
No, he's still alive.
No,
No,
like
the
in
character.
in
Oh,
the
you're right, you're right,
movie.
you're right. My bad, my
David?
bad.
In the
Is his name
movie.
David?
Yeah.
David,
Didn't he
you're
die?
right. My
David
bad. You're
dies.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, spoiler.
Spoiler. I mean,
But-
God, it came out in 1990.
Yeah, if
I'm
you
just
haven't seen it
saying,
yet.
I think
but
most people
that's-
watching
that's
this,
on you.
you guys weren't even born yet when
Nope.
this came out.
No.
1987. I'm sorry, it came out in 1987. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
Who else
That'd
could
be
have come
cool.
back then? Who else?
Oh,
Not Corey Feldman. I'm sorry.
No! He would be so good. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
He's kind of gone off the deep end.
No, he hasn't.
But
What?
he'd still
Free
be
Corey
cool.
Feldman. He hasn't actually done anything.
He can bring
but
that
he's
to the
Free
character.
Corey.
He could
He
bring that to the
could.
character.
That would
Yeah.
be so cool.
Yeah, we were talking
I
about
love
that
Corey
as well.
Feldman.
Actors that have gone to prison and
Exactly.
stuff, and they've made a comeback and become a rapper.
Mhm.
So maybe he could become a rapper.
Yeah, he can
in
start
it.
rapping mid-movie.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
a musical.
That I
you
was
know?
about to say.
That
We
would be
talk
great.
about sequels that come out there make things worse. That would definitely make this worse.
I don't know about that.
Wait, didn't they have a sequel for Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Okay,
They had-
they
they had
had
two others.
They had like two others.
But that doesn't count.
Were absolute.
You can do like the
Crap,
Halloween
I
thing and
forgot
just
about that.
X all those
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I
and
was
that
about to
doesn't
just
say.
gonna
count.
forget
If
about
if
it.
those
We're
were
just gonna
not like, I
forget
mean,
about it.
you don't have to watch those, and you would
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
Going back to what I was talking for, so Happy Gilmore 2, MJF is going to be making an appearance in Happy Gilmore 2. Yes, he's going to be making an appearance.
Oh my god.
They haven't announced his
That's
role
so
yet,
Cool.
but my guess is that he's going to be like on a celebrity tour and he's going to
That
be
would be so
like him
cool.
fighting with Happy Gilmore would be kind of funny.
No, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
But
I'm a little
that's-
sad I didn't know that. I just want to apologize as a wrestling fanatic. I should have known that, and I didn't.
I think you're just
That's
as much of
on
an
me.
act as I am.
I know, and I didn't know that. My bad.
Wow.
My bad.
What about you?
My
Chris?
pick was, I guess it's already a sequel, so my pick is Gremlins 2 to get a sequel. So a Gremlins
So
3.
take away Gremlins 2 and just make a
No, just make a Gremlins,
so Gremlins 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd
That
be
would
fun.
actually be a good one. I would buy into that.
Like a Gen Z Gremlins.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
What would the Gremlins be on Snapchat? Just like
Exactly.
Probably.
Mhm.
More relatable.
Running around.
That'd be a good one. So for me, I have a couple, but the one big one I want to bring up because we've talked about like Fuller House, Boy Meets Girl Meets World, getting their legacy characters back.
Mhm.
I think if they need to do it right because this show really dove into issues of the times, and I think bringing back Family Matters would be a great one to bring back.
Yeah.
Bring back all the cast. I think all the cast is still around. You can bring back Urkel, all that stuff. You can even he doesn't have to be the same Urkel. But I think even bringing back the dad would be I think that'd be awesome to me.
Mhm.
Bringing back them, he could be like a grandfather role to his grandkids, or something like that. I think as long as they did it right, because Fuller House, it's okay, but it's nowhere near the caliber of Full House. Like it didn't dive deep into the drama aspects of the show. But you have one for yourself?
I do. It's a little newer. It's a different one than what I said earlier, but this movie's a little newer, and I think if it's done carefully, it could be really cool. But I think doing a Coraline 2 would be very interesting. I think using maybe Coraline as an adult, maybe she has a family, just something. Because like, isn't the hand still around? It could be.
Yeah.
I might have
there has been like talk about how she actually might still be in that world, but thinks that she's back into the real world and stuff like that.
I just think that would be, but it has to be done carefully.
Cool. Yeah.
And it has to be protected. But
I think
it has to be protected. We have to protect it. But I think it'd be really cool.
What do you guys think about another Nightmare Before Christmas sequel?
Nightmare Before Valentine, I guess.
Silence there.
Silence there. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there.
That'd be interesting.
One thing, I'm going to cheat a little bit. So we've seen a lot of superheroes making their way back, especially in Marvel, like older Marvel characters like Blade and Elektra and all that stuff, making their way back to the franchises. I want DC to somehow bring back Keanu Reeves as Constantine.
Oh, that's a terrible take. But
No!
Yeah.
No!
The Constantine movie was not good at all.
The movie wasn't good.
His portrayal wasn't good at all.
No, he was amazing as Constantine. Yes, he was.
He was not at all.
Okay, this is going to be the last time Chris is going to be on this show.
That's fine. If that's the takes you promote on this show, I'm fine with that.
Good to know. Good to know. No. Come on. No,
That's amazing.
I think him versus the guy who played on the Constantine show was far better.
You think the Keanu Reeves was better than the show version?
The guy who played him, yes, in my opinion. In my opinion.
I think the show version at his peak is better than Keanu Reeves. I think the show version just had more shows and he had more different writers. He had to go and spread out to different shows. I think that's what did him wrong. We'll see if you come from Tomorrow to Flash, and then there'd be all different writers and would write them differently. I think Keanu Reeves was just written terribly throughout the whole movie.
I will concede to that, but as far as his portrayal of Constantine, I feel like that he was really good at.
I don't think he got anything right with Constantine. He wasn't cool. He was just basic. He was just, hello, I'm gonna kill demons today.
This guy.
My name is Keanu Reeves. He's like John Wick, but like if John Wick wanted to kill demons.
Yeah.
Any more we have on the back burner before we wrap it up for the day?
I have a question for Addie specifically because we are both, which you are too, but we are Scream fanatics. We love Scream. I would love to see another Scream movie where Stu is not dead.
Yes.
And he is actually another killer, and he comes back.
Are you talking about like a reboot?
No, I'm hoping
like I want them to continue the franchise, and then like the next movie, the killer is Stu from the first one.
The next sequel that we do, I'm hoping
he was dead though.
We we don't see him die.
And
we just see a TV fall on him. You could live through that.
I'm not going to go on a tangent.
I guess.
Do it, Addie. Do it.
The last movie though, I don't even remember what number it would be, or
7.
Yeah, technically. One of them made some sort of comment saying like, "Oh, this is the TV that killed Stu," and they go, "Well, if it killed him," and they're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I don't know. No one saw this, and that," and so I was like, "Huh?"
We didn't see him die.
I was confused because I was like, "Why would they put that in there?"
Did you know that I believe for the third script they originally wrote it that he was supposed to come back, and then last minute they changed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
I was mad about that.
Interesting. If they bring him back, cool. I would just, because he was not the brains of that operation by any stretch of the imagination. So if he brought someone else on, like I couldn't see him becoming the brains of this next one.
Oh, I could.
You could?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think
he's kind of psycho enough to just like keep going for it. You know, he doesn't have to be
He
smart
wants
about
revenge.
it.
I'm all for it. That could be very interesting, especially now that they're bringing back. I guess Sid is going to be playing a main role now because of everything that happened with the new cast. So that could be interesting. And if they did that, I would be all for it. I would just, again, if you're going to continue with that same who he is as a character, he was not the brightest bulb in the box.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
But I think that'd be kind of cool, like a dumb Scream face.
Yeah.
Or Ghost face, sorry.
Dumb Ghost face. Yeah, it could be very interesting.
It could be,
All right, folks, that is for today. Thank you so much for watching. More importantly, what did you think of all of our segments, and all of our topics? Leave your comments in the section below and let us know your thoughts. Also, if you like our content and you like what we provide, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and punch that notification bell so you receive all of our great content we have for you here on Real Time. And that's for today. Again, I'm Josh Williams.
I'm Jordan Burke
I'm Addie.
And I'm Chris.
And thank you for keeping it real
with Real Time.